Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to have you here with me. I hope you're having a great day, and I want to thank you all for attending our LACHSA Alumni Scholarship recap and feedback. I hope that you find this webinar helpful and useful, not only in if you've submitted a scholarship application to kind of learn how to maybe improve your scholarship application for next year, to learn more about our scholarships, but I'm hoping that there'll be an opportunity to get some feedback from you about how the process went, and I will also be sharing with you how we plan to improve the process for next year. So with no further ado, what I'm going to do is share my screen here so that you all can see. Let's see. Give me just a moment here. This will be recorded and will be available online, so you'll be able to listen to it at a later date if you're not able to hear the whole webinar, or you can pass along the link to the recording to other folks who may not have been able to make this webinar. But once again, I want to welcome everyone to our webinar. This is actually our first webinar, so I'm really excited, and we're looking forward for this to be the first of many to come. The agenda, which we have about a 45-minute call today, and that may even be shortened depending on how we move through things and if there are any questions that come up. But I'm going to walk you through the agenda. We're going to do some acknowledgments. I'm going to discuss with you some of the ways to support the Scholarship Fund and the Alumni Association. A little bit more about the Alumni Association and some historical information. I will talk to you specifically about the Scholarship Fund, what were some of the hiccups and pitfalls that we found with the scholarship applications that we did receive. I'm hoping to get some of your feedback, but I also want to share what we're going to be changing to improve the process for next year. So you're probably wondering who I am. My name is Elaine Rasmussen. I am from the class of 1988, the second graduating class. I was a dance major, and I currently sit as the chair of the board of directors for the Alumni Association. Once again, I want to welcome all of you to this webinar, but I also want to take this as a big, huge moment to thank all the folks that donated for the Scholarship Fund this year. Some of our donors were longtime donors, and we had some new donors this season. So I just want to take this opportunity to really thank anyone and everyone who has supported the Scholarship Fund this year and in all the years past. We have donations that start from $5 and have gone all the way up to tens of thousands of dollars. So every gift is appreciated, every gift matters, and the more that funds we raise, the more that we're able to give in scholarships. This year, all of our donations were online. We do accept donations through check, but in a new twist of events, all of our donations were done online through our website this year. So we're noticing a little bit of a trend, but checks are always welcome. I know some folks are not necessarily comfortable with making online payments, but if you go to our website and you prefer to mail a check, you're more than welcome to mail a check. This year, we had 10 donations that funded this year's scholarships. So once again, that's not a whole lot of donors when you're talking about an alumni of over 3,000. So we're hoping that this year and next year we'll be able to get some more donations so that we have a larger pool and we can give out more scholarships. That's really our goal. And just know that anytime you make a donation or a gift to the Alumni Association, since we are a 501c3, your donation is tax deductible. So very quickly, I want to share with you some of the very specific and discrete ways that you can support the Scholarship Fund and the Alumni Association. We are a membership organization, so anybody who has attended the school for more than one semester, the Alumni Association considers an alum. We realize that that is a very different criteria than how LACHSA determines a alumni, but the board over the years has decided that if you have attended LACHSA for at least a semester, you are an alum. So know that as far as the Alumni Association goes, we include you in that family. In a larger sense, we also include the parents, grandparents, partners, families of the alums, because we know that none of us gets to any place on our own. It takes a village, and we all include all of you into our LACHSA community at large. So with that point being said, we do accept donations from anyone. You don't have to be an alum to give a donation. You can make donations on our website at www.lachsaalum.org or lachsaalumni.com. Both of those will go to the same place. It is a secure site, so you're more than welcome, and your information will be secured and not used for any other purpose than for your donation. We also have a anonymous donation that you can make. If you go to our website, there's an opportunity to make an anonymous donation, and if that's what you wish, we will honor that request. Another way to support the fund, a lot of employers have employee matching contributions, or sometimes they'll double your contribution. So if you're working for a company or a corporation in particular, I seek out your human resources or your manager and find out if your organization has an employee matching program. Typically, an organization will match whatever donation you make, whether that's $25, $50, and they'll match that up to a certain amount. Some organizations will even double or triple that amount. So that's one way to make your donation go twice as far or 3 times as far, is by having them match that donation, having your work match that donation, or your spouse or your partner's work match the donation that you make. Another way, we know some of you are just starting out in your careers, or maybe you're in a particular financial situation, but you want to be able to give something. We have lots of free options to generate funds. One of them is through Good Search. So if you change your web browser to have goodsearch.org or goodsearch.com as your default browser page, every search you make, instead of using Google or Yahoo, every search you make raises a penny. So that may not seem a lot, but we have 3,000 alumni, and if 3,000 alumni every day did just one search on Good Search, that's $300 we would make a day. And over the course of a month, now you're talking about $30,000 every month, and then you multiply that by 12. That's a lot of funds that we could use to be able to support more scholarships and support more of you to be able to do those things that will help you advance your professional career, whether that's in the arts or out of the arts. Another way, if you are in a financial situation that doesn't allow you to give, is to use goodshop.com. If you go to goodshop.com and you identify LACHSA Alumni Association as your charity, anytime you do any of your online shopping, you go to Good Shop, you put in any organization, whether that be Victoria's Secret, whether that be Sports Authority, whether that be Best Buy, it will tell you, by using that link, it will tell you that link to the store, it will tell you how much that store will give in a donation. So I'll give you an example. I bought a desk from Office Depot. The desk was $154. The Office Depot, by using that link to their store and making my purchase through that link to the store, gave a 4% donation back to the Alumni Association. So it was a great way to, a win-win situation. I was able to make a donation without actually making a donation, and I was able to get what I needed by doing what I normally do, which is shopping online. So you can go to Good Shop and look for any online store. Many of the popular online stores are on there. It's very difficult to find a store that's not on there, including Target, including, like I said, Victoria's Secret. Almost any store you find in a mall, you can find on Good Shop and be able to do your shopping online. Kohl's, So I encourage you to use that as another mechanism to be able to support the Alumni Association. Another similar site is iGive. Once again, you select LACHSA Alumni Association as your charity of choice, and you'll be able to do your shopping through those sites, and a donation comes back to the organization. There's one other one which I haven't mentioned here, which is called mychange.com. What mychange.com does is it rounds up your purchases to the nearest dollar, and that change in between what you purchased and the next dollar, rounding up to the next dollar, that change gets donated to the Alumni Association. You can sign up for one or two of your credit cards, and you can actually put a limit on what the maximum amount would be donated. So if you wanted to make your change add up to no more than $50 donation, it would your rounding up of your transactions would be completed once you hit that $50 mark. So you're able to set that limit. And that, once again, that's mychange.com. Finally, as we give out scholarships, it's not just enough to have the money for the scholarship. We often have folks who are attending conservatories or seeking professional development opportunities that are not necessarily where they live. They have to travel to those opportunities. So we're always looking for airline miles, hotel and travel loyalty points for those to be donated to the Alumni Association. And with those, we are able to re-gift those to our scholarship recipients who may need travel support to get to the opportunities that they're looking to take advantage of. So these are just a few ways to support the actual scholarship fund, whether you're able to give or you're not able to give. We try to think of ways to be able to for everybody to find a way to support the scholarship fund and the Alumni Association. The Alumni Association, I want to talk a little bit about the Alumni Association. So while the school was started in 1985, this particular iteration of the Alumni Association was not established until 2004. And this was started through a collaborative effort that was spearheaded by Kari Weiss, who was in class of 88, I believe, theater. So we owe a great debt of gratitude. She was the board chair for a number of years, spearheading the work that happened at the Alumni Association. So we owe her a great debt of gratitude. So if you ever meet Kari at one of the alumni events, please say thank you to her. Without her, none of this is possible. We are a membership organization, and while everybody is included as a member, we do collect membership dues. We haven't done that in the recent past because we were reorganizing and restructuring the organization, but you'll be hearing more about some member benefits that we're looking to do in the new fiscal year starting July 1 after we have our board retreat meeting, which will be coming up next week. But we are a membership organization. We respond and represent you in a variety of different ways. We work with LACHSA, the school. We work with the Arts High Foundation. We are your voice. So when issues come up at the school or related to faculty or related to students, we are there working with LACO, working with the school to be the voice on the ground to make sure that in addition to your individual concerns, that we come with the full weight of the alumni to some of these conversations. As you know, we offer scholarships. In the past, we've coordinated reunions, we've funded reunions or co-funded reunions, and now we're getting into webinars and we're looking to do more. But at the end of the day, we're here to support you and we work for you. So we're really looking forward in the next year and beyond to create some more 360 open communication with the alumni of all ages and really find out and what we can do to help you better and to make, support your success, identifying what those are and seeing how we can do that. So now I'd like to talk to you about the Scholarship Fund. The Scholarship Fund has been going since about 2007, and myself, I've been on and off the board over probably the last 10 years, but over the course of the time that we've been doing scholarships, our gifts have been anywhere between actually $250 all the way up to $2,500. Our gifts are dependent on how much money we're able to raise. So as you can understand, getting these donations is really important, because the more that we are able to raise more money, the more scholarships we can give. Over the course of this time, now spanning almost 10 years, we've given out over $30,000 in scholarships. And we do our scholarship fund, we do our fundraising annually, but we give out our scholarships once a year. But we do want to grow the fund, so we really encourage, if you're not in a position to make a donation, we encourage you to tell your friends to make a donation, tell your family members to make a donation. No gift is too small. If you made a $5 donation instead of getting that latte, that Starbucks latte, every gift counts, and it all adds up, and we really do appreciate all the gifts that we get, because we're able to just turn it around and give it right back to the community. So it's really important to us to really grow this fund and eventually work from an endowment. So we typically give, depending on how much funding we have, we give out 4 scholarships. We give out an Alumni Professional Development Scholarship, which means you have to be an alum of LACHSA under the guidelines that I discussed earlier. And that's for you to pursue professional development, whether that's in the arts or outside of the arts. This is really about supporting you no matter what you decide to do, even if you've left the arts and maybe have a more traditional position or even untraditional position, and you want to advance going to a seminar, going to a workshop, whatever that is. This is an opportunity for our alum to get that financial support to be able to pursue and go to that next step in their professional development. We have a graduating senior scholarship. That scholarship goes to a selected graduating senior of LACHSA. Then finally, we give a scholarship to a current student, an underclass person who is attending LACHSA. And then finally, we typically in the past have done a faculty grant once, but the faculty grant often is contingent on funding. And what the faculty grant is we provide an opportunity for both the arts and the academic faculty to submit a grant request for something that would help students in the school. So one of the things, if you've been to the school in the last, I'd say probably 5 to 7 years, we donated, we paid for or gave a grant for the some PE equipment. We've given a grant for some biology equipment. So we don't just give grants to the arts, but we give grants to the academic. And if we're really lucky and we have a good number of funding, we're able to give 1 grant to the arts department and 1 grant to the academic department. This year, however, because of limited funding, we were only able to give out the first 3 scholarships: the Professional Development Scholarship, Graduating Senior Scholarship, and Current Student Scholarship. So now I want to move into what were some of the common application mistakes. And I just want to take a moment here. If you are got some questions, there's a chat feature. I believe there's a little bubble. So you can go ahead and put your questions in there, and I'll be happy to answer them in just a little bit. So common application mistakes. We received over 90 applications across the 3 grant opportunities or 3 scholarship opportunities. However, only 76 were considered across the 3 awards. Some of the application missteps were typically common. We saw them, as you can see. There's a good number that were disqualified. One of the big ones, which I don't have listed here, is the application was submitted late. We're very strict about receiving the application on time, and I do want to acknowledge that there was a situation with the timing and what was publicized of when applications were no longer going to be accepted. I believe there was an error as far as Pacific time or Central time. What we ended up doing was going to the later time and accepting applications all the way up to 11:59 Central Standard Time. However, we were receiving applications the next day, and all of those applications were disqualified. Some of the other common mistakes or missteps that we found with the applications is that they were just incomplete. And I think it was very clear in the application instructions that no incomplete applications would be accepted. So what do I mean by incomplete? Incomplete could have meant that you didn't have your verification form. And I realized that there was some confusion about that, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. Some of the other incomplete, what was considered incomplete, where a box wasn't checked as far as what grant opportunity or scholarship opportunity you were applying for. You'd be surprised how many people went through their whole application and they forgot to check that box, which meant that we couldn't categorize them, and we do not go through the process, because what happens is with the applications is we sort through them, and then they go to a scholarship committee. They don't go to the board. The scholarship committee reviews them. So because we're an all-volunteer staff, we really don't have the people power to go and verify and check every single application. So we put that on the applicant to make sure that they've gotten everything, and that's why we're very detailed on the website and in the application of all the things that you're going to make sure that you need to do before you submit your application to make sure that it's considered. Some of the other mistakes that we found on the applications is that people just didn't follow the directions. It was just plain and simple. The directions were very, very clear as to what we were asking for, and people just did not do that. So some of the mistakes or error was if we asked you a question about what community service you've done, some people put things that didn't qualify as community service. So things like that. So just really following the directions, once again, submitting the application on time. That would be not following the directions. I had one person in particularly mark the box. They were selecting the alumni professional development, and in parentheses they said that they were a graduating senior. Well, it's very clear what qualifies as a graduating senior if you go to the website and on the application. And so a graduating senior can only be considered for a graduating senior. Our application process doesn't allow you to leapfrog and apply in another category, even though you may consider yourself an alum. You're not quite an alum because you're still in school. So, and this is one of the reasons why we do the application process, the call for applications during the school year, so that there's a clear distinction between who's a senior and who's an alum. So things like that. Some of the other things that weren't necessarily mistakes, but were things that were not favorable to your application. The application asks for your responses to go, I believe, no longer than 2 to 5 pages, and we got applications that were 10 pages long, and there were a number of those. Because once again it's a volunteer group, and as I demonstrated to you earlier, we had 76 applications. If everybody's writing a 10-page application, that makes it very difficult for our volunteers to be able to go through them in a timely manner, which in turn we announced our winners later than we had anticipated, because we had so many applications that went beyond the page limit. The other thing, which once again was not necessarily a mistake, I think people were trying to improve their chances to get a scholarship by really padding, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but really listing all their accomplishments. And I got people who sent me their video reels. I got people who sent me their demo tapes. Their demo MP4 files. I got people who sent me their headshots. We did not ask for any of that information, and it really makes it difficult in trying to compile the information to hand over to our scholarship committee. It makes the process longer and more difficult. So once again, it goes all back to really following the directions, and less is more, and really being very succinct and very getting as much impact with the space that you have. So those were probably the most common things that we saw. And we've seen actually over the years in doing this, I've now been doing this for this will be my fourth or fifth scholarship run here, scholarship application run, and these are mistakes that keep coming up. So I thought it would be helpful if we did a webinar where people can take an opportunity to, at least for going forward, if they didn't get a scholarship this year, you're more than welcome to apply again next year for any of the scholarships that apply to you, but we really wanted to provide some kind of feedback to let you know how you can improve your scholarship application for the coming years. So I was hoping that we could get some feedback from the process. Are there any questions that anybody has, or any feedback that they'd like to share with me? So where we left off was asking folks to provide feedback on the process. And I didn't see any comments before we were disconnected, and I don't see any additional comments. So I'm just going to keep going and allow us to move through the rest of the short presentation. We are almost through. There's only one more slide. So process improvement. The process, this was really kind of a stress test for our process, our scholarship process. And so what was great about this, it was painful because we've never received so many applications before. And we definitely want to thank LACHSA for promoting helping us get so many applications. But this really put us through the paces as far as figuring out what does that look like as far as getting that many applications, and what system changes do we need to make to improve the process. So one of the things that we're looking to do next year, which we're hoping will alleviate some of the challenges that I discussed in the previous slide about the pitfalls and lessons learned on applications, mistakes that were made on applications, is to move to an online process. This online process will provide character limitations. It will provide limitations on what kinds of documents you can upload, and will be revamping the instructions to be more clear, particularly around the verification form. There were a lot of folks, particularly alumni, who were questioning whether or not they needed a cumulative grade GPA verification form. And for those particular who were looking for professional development workshops, we really didn't need that information. So it allowed us to see that we needed to be more clear about a distinction between those that were going for an academic scholarship and those who were looking for more professional development workshops or seminars or conservatory opportunities for their scholarship application. So those are just some of the few improvements that we're looking to make. I'm hoping that you'll be able to share with us more information on what you believe would help us improve the process, or any hiccups that you experience. Feel free to direct those directly to LACHSAalumni@gmail.com. Our board reviews all of those emails, and we will respond to you. So feel free to share any comments, enlightenment after you view this webinar, of anything that you can think of that was confusing for you, that maybe you didn't think of on the webinar, or that you experienced, and we'll definitely be looking at those to incorporate those going forward. One of the other things that we will be doing in the process is we'll be convening a scholarship committee to kind of help rewrite the process, but we're going to be starting having them work a little bit sooner rather than later as far as announcing the scholarship and for fundraising as well. We're probably going to be doing more fundraising starting in September. So that hopefully we'll have more funds to give out next year. We really would like to move to a place where we're providing multiple scholarships for each one of the categories that we provide scholarships to. So hopefully with your help, we'll be able to get that done. So in closing, once again, I want to thank all of you who applied. I want to thank all of you who gave. I want to thank all of you who are watching this webinar. Feel free to share with other alum. Take this link and share it with others. I'll be posting this on Facebook. And I hope to see you at an upcoming event. We're actually having a board retreat in LA on the 24th and 25th of June, and we'll be having an open time where folks can come in and meet the board and share with us your thoughts and what you would like to see the Alumni Association doing. That will be posted to Facebook and to our website very, very soon in the next day or so. So once again, www.lachasalum.org. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter, and I will definitely see you there. Thank you, everybody, for your time. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you guys out there. Keep doing what you're doing and keep smiling.